Live on the mic. Here we go. And 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone. Pull up a seat at the table. It is lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode 197 is entitled Toxic Relationships. We've all been there. The time when we finally realize that a relationship is not going to work and is, in fact, toxic. This week, we will be going over what many people have submitted when asked, what is a dead giveaway of a toxic relationship? So pull up a seat at the table and join us. First-time listeners, you can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later at youtube.com/lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, you can take our relational needs questionnaire. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it would be great if you gave us a 5-star review. Jay, what is this podcast about?
Being alone is the worst. Good times aren't as good, and bad times are worse when you're all alone. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. That is how you keep people from being alone, and what this podcast is all about. We demonstrate that in the first 15 or so minutes of the podcast, and we talk about it for the rest. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like it is
Lunchtime in Rome. I'm going to start off with some food talk.
Food talk.
Food talk. Give me an There you go.
We used to start off every episode with food talk, but so I don't know. I don't grill during the winter a lot.
Yeah,
because
who does?
Well, I would like to, but it's so inconvenient for us because like down the steps, out the back, like it's just not inconvenient.
No.
I know, Jay, you have your grill like right off the door of the kitchen, outside. It's great.
I have shoveled to grill.
Yeah, yeah.
That's commitment.
But tonight, and you're gonna say you'll probably never do this.
All right.
I sous vide a burger.
Oh, I've done that.
You probably say you've done that before.
To be fair, I believe I did it on vacation. You were there, but whatever.
A burger?
Maybe it was right before burger.
Yeah,
or before a vacation.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Before the burger.
I don't remember that. Because I thought, you know what?
It's scary when you take it out of the sous vide.
Actually, it held together really well.
Uh-huh.
And
But it looks raw.
there is a little bit of redness to it.
What temperature?
I did it 140.
Oh, well, you burned it. Okay.
No, no, because you're sous videing it at 140, which is different if you were to do, cook it at,
Internal temperature.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So like it's basically like we do a pork chop where you do it 140 and then you just finish it. You just like sear it on either end on the. I did it on a cast iron skillet. Mm-hmm. Amy like raved about it.
Oh yeah, because you get pink from.
It was
top to bottom.
unbelievable. It was so
Or in your case,
good.
light pink.
Yeah, and so you might smell onions because I sautéed
yes, we did.
onions.
We all
It's
do,
probably me. Like it's honestly all over me right now because I was hovering over
Banging those onions out.
They're just so good. Sautéed onions. It's like one of the best
You
things.
just go butter, with a little bit of oil to stabilize it, or what do you do?
Canola oil?
On the burger.
For sure. No, when you saute
Saute.
onions.
Oh,
saute the onions
butter and olive
Salt.
oil.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of
Little
both.
salt,
Yeah. What?
a little salt, a little pepper.
A little bit. Yeah.
I've never done the combo. I've always either done oil or butter.
I love,
Oh,
I
no, you
love
gotta
mixing
You got to
both.
do both.
You can't just do butter because then you'll scorch the butter.
Yeah, because you'll start to caramelize. So if
Yeah.
you add the oil and
It'll
you can,
separate.
it'll.
You just get
go
more
higher
good,
heat.
more good fat.
Why not
too.
just margarine? I don't understand. Why?
Oh, guess,
margarine?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's
Because
after,
it's not butter.
it's after you drink fruit juice.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Oh well, because it's not.
May I add to your hamburger?
Do it.
So, so tonight I tried this new recipe that was in the Carnivore Cookbook.
nice.
It was called mozzarella sticks, carnivore mozzarella sticks.
Oh, tell me this. I want this recipe right now.
Yeah,
I'm waiting.
it was you.
Wait, can I guess?
No.
It's cheese.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Mozzarella cheese. Okay. But instead of breadcrumbs,
Like string cheese, like right out of the package.
just
String
string
cheese.
cheese, right.
Okay.
but obviously, it's not carnivore if you deep fry it with breadcrumbs or whatever. So
Correct.
you wrap it with bacon.
Yes, but
Yes.
you also wrap it with ground beef. So you take ground beef and season it, and what you do is you like create like 2x3 by like quarter-inch things of ground beef, so that basically what you're doing is you're rolling the cheese stick in it, and you have to seal it all up. You have to seal it all up in the ground beef, or the cheese all in the ground beef. Yeah. Then you wrap bacon around it.
Because you have cheese like out of it.
It ended up happening anyways, but you do it in the air fryer. It was only 8 minutes. You do 4 minutes on each side. So it was really easy to make. It was fun to make. And as soon as I was like, oh, mozzarella, like thinking mozzarella sticks from like Eaton Park, you know?
Yeah.
And as soon as I bit into it, I was like, oh, this is a cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger, right.
Inside
This is a
out.
cheeseburger.
But I'm going to try something now that you've given me the idea. Because with the Scotch eggs that I do, I use the pork rinds.
Yeah. That's where I thought he was going.
Yep.
That would be wonderful.
So I'm going to egg wash. I'm going to egg wash the cheese stick, put it, do
Roll
the
it
pork
in the-
rind,
yeah.
put it in the air fryer.
I think that would be fantastic.
We're going to,
Yeah.
I will try to have those ready for next week.
Let's do it tonight.
Okay, I'll be right
I
back.
had fun making it, and it was the first time I did it.
I mean, was it good?
It was great.
Yeah.
I have 2 of
Yeah.
them. I have 2 left, but
Yeah.
Well, that was like, there's a thing out there to make bread out of chicken, and you grind it up a whole bunch. And it's
KFC did that.
All right, but anyhow, they're like, yeah, it's chicken loaf. Like it looks like bread,
Yeah.
but it's chicken loaf.
KFC did that with but they just literally used 2 chicken breasts for
Oh
the
yeah,
bread.
like crispy-
literally
like
looks
crispy
they add
bread,
bacon
yeah.
soda or something,
Yeah.
and this and that. Yeah, but it's like it looks like bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's chicken.
Yeah.
Tastes like chicken.
So last week, Amy was surprised that I didn't bring up the big ordeal that we went through with Maggie, and because we went to she had a reaction to amoxicillin.
yeah.
And I don't think I talked about it on the pod.
Did not.
So I want to talk about it for 2 reasons. One, just to share it with the audience. Maggie had an allergic reaction to amoxicillin, which
table.
was horrible. It happened on day 9, like it happens. No, it doesn't. She spiked a fever. We ended up at Children's
wait,
Hospital.
day
which
9
is,
of the amoxicillin?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's
One-
why you should
one
never
day
finish
short.
an antibiotic.
I try never to do that.
Because at day 9, you're like, oh, we're almost out of this. And nope, right back into it. So ended up at Children's Hospital, which is the best and worst place on earth.
Yep.
Because the care, phenomenal. The doctor that we saw, man, just great.
Especially that's a big deal in the ER because you don't always get the best of the best.
Yeah, she was phenomenal. She was really, really good. The ER, wow. Especially children's ER.
Factory of Sadness.
Man, dude, it is just everything is happening. Like every kind of person is there. Race. There's a teenage girl that was cussing out her parents. For some or guardian. I don't know.
Or stranger.
Sure. Security was involved, and it was just a lot. But luckily, we had previously gone to the Children's Express here in Monroeville, so they actually got us in there. Like they had us triaged already. So we only had to wait in the waiting room 20 minutes, which was phenomenal because
It's unheard of.
I heard 4-hour wait time, and I was like, if I have to, I don't know. I don't know if I could. I would have had to leave and take a walk, because it's just very overwhelming for me, in my brain, in the way I handle those loud and confusing situations.
Yeah, you don't do that well.
I do not. But Maggie was a champ. I mean, we went through it. She obviously had meltdowns because it was end of the day, tired, hungry, blah, 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 blah.
That was a long night for you guys.
But it was great. But the reason why I didn't bring it up is because I was already comforted by all you guys. Because I had already talked to you guys. You guys had already shared your comfort, and I didn't really feel the need to revisit it on the show because I was fine at that point because we had already been through it and we had already been comforted. So and I feel like that's a testament to what we talk about of attaching that comfort. And anytime I think about that, I'm just going to think about all of our friends that came alongside of us, and it was awesome. So even though it wasn't awesome, but you know what I mean.
The comfort was awesome.
The comfort was awesome.
It was fun during that exchange, and that your updates and everything. When we reached that point where I was like, okay, and now I can make a joke. Up until you get to this point where oh, this is all business, and then you hit that point.
Right. Yeah. No, that very much is true.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, we're here now. We're on the other end of it. Good weather today. We've been going on walks.
Did you guys see the moon tonight?
No.
I was behind the clouds when I saw it.
Is it
It's
still
funny.
full?
Huge. Yeah, it's huge.
Because Maggie's going like crazy right now. Like,
you
she's
should-
just like
Rachel's stories from school.
I'm telling you, man. Say anybody in healthcare
True,
will tell
bro.
you.
Yeah.
At full moon and Maggie, the past 2 days has just been like
Facial
a pinball.
hair.
Like,
Rachel,
no, but
Rachel said about a kid at school. She's like, he's sort of new. He's been there a couple months. And mind you, this is either a 3 or 4 year old. And she explains him, and he's just a sweetheart. But in the last, like something happened in the last couple of days, and it's something in his brain broke. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that's a hell of a thing to say. And she's just like, he hasn't been the same kid. Something happened, and everything is wrong,
Yeah.
and it's terrible. And
Maggie's
everything's
just
the
been on
worst.
10 the past 2 days. Just like all over, like bing bonging around,
Yeah.
like just all over the place.
Well, how about last week we were sitting here at the table commenting how, Jay, you had just mowed your lawn for the first time and it was snowing
when we left.
I
on
mowed and
Wednesday.
snowed.
Yeah. And now, today, a week later, it's 85
85,
degrees and...
And a thunderstorm warning.
All right.
Yeah.
I hear it's supposed to storm tonight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm glad I got out and threw some discs before
Yeah, you did.
before that happened. I think that was one of my updates last week, too. So happy to keep... Oh, man, I took another step forward today as far as, like, just getting that torque happening and
That's awesome.
snapping it out. It was great.
It's a hell of an update.
Well, thank you. I mean, what else do you want? Disc golf is my life. No,
School's done. You're on break.
it's true. Yeah.
Oh, Easter break. Yeah. A little spring
a
break.
less fun update is Amy and I both had the flu. It was not COVID, but it was
Take a test.
sure. But it was
love
flu symptoms, and Amy got it before me. Like a week ago today, probably. And then I started feeling it like Thursday night into Friday, whatever. I'm much better. Yesterday I started finally feeling better, and but it like
Lingered.
yes, very much. And it included like fever, chills, that sort of thing. But mostly it's like respiratory stuff. Anyway, though, she's still, man, still.
She also has an immune system that was pretty
Yeah.
wrecked recently, and still is
Decimated.
going through.
That's where I was going. Yeah, like it
Sorry,
just
I didn't mean to.
no, it's
steal your
great.
story.
I appreciate you chiming in on that. Like it's true, and she just. I hate to bring up more poor Amy suffering, but like man, oh man, like
She's had a heck of
let's get a break.
heck of a 2023 already.
Yeah,
And half of 2022.
Right.
I mean, it started for you, but it really started
Yeah.
for you guys back in like July.
end of
With
summer.
the Tesla.
Yeah.
It all started with
Oh,
the
the
Tesla.
Tesla.
Oh, the Tesla. Yeah, that was in June.
Started with the Tesla, ending with Maggie's birthday.
You would like to think so. For me, for the table, I could certainly go over my doctor's visit and their recommendations for me to change my diet. But we've talked about that extensively. They gave me the Heart Healthy 1972 American Heart Association diet.
Margarine.
so ridiculous.
Yeah, all margarine and seed oils.
Pasta.
No avocado.
Enriched breads, high sugar, low fructose or low fat yogurt. So yeah, I'm gonna have diabetes by this time next year,
And be 25 pounds heavier.
at least. So we're not gonna talk about that. But I do want to talk about the fact that Saturday evening was baby Tai Tai, my nephew Tyler,
Yeah.
and Kira, who is Leah's cousin's engagement party, and it was great because I got to meet Kira's mom, Riri. There's also Mare, and then there's also Leah's mom, Marcia. I don't know why she didn't.
Not Mar.
And then they have a cousin, Dee Dee. So Dee Dee, Riri, Mare, Marcia. But
I love how Baby Tai Tai is Baby Tai Tai.
Right,
though.
Tai Tai,
Tai.
Riri, the ground, everybody hanging out. But so I walk in with Leah because Joe was on his ROTC weekend, and Rachel and Bella were going to the North Hills musical. So I walk in with my mother and Leah, and we walk in, and there's Riri, and I go, "Well, if it isn't Riri," she was like, "Hello." And I gave her a big hug, and it was like at that exact moment, I'm like, I'm done with this lady. like, I don't want you to do a song and a dance, but I thought we had a little something here we could have gone with.
Meanwhile, Marsha's the fun one.
yeah, yeah,
It doesn't have the nickname. She's the real fun one.
yeah. But it was a very nice evening, and it was a lot of fun. And I really got to talk to Rich. You guys know
Yeah.
Rich, and he was sporting the Air Force Ones with dark jeans, and I said he looked
Okay.
just like Dr.
Okay.
Drew.
Yeah.
You know, his hair is basically white now, and he had the clear glasses on, and he's down a good bit of weight.
Yeah.
So
he was down a good bit of weight the last time I saw him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
So
right.
And then at the very end, they asked if I would officiate their wedding, which brought me darn near to tears.
Yeah.
it was
That's
awesome.
It was so validating, so nice, so wonderful. And I said, hey, we got to meet, ideally 5 times. Like, would you want to FaceTime? And I was like, no. They said, we'll be back in June. I was like, all right, maybe I'll come down in May.
There you go. Take a little
But
trip.
not that I can afford that, but anyhow, but it was really cool, and it was good family time, and it's fun hanging out with my brother, and it was just a really good celebration of life.
That's
it was
awesome.
a lot
That's
of fun.
beautiful.
That is so
Got to see
fun.
Hunter. I haven't seen Hunter in a
Oh,
minute
man.
now.
Yeah, I was just thinking about him yesterday.
I haven't seen him in
I
forever.
pulled into the
too.
church and there was a truck there, and I was like, "Is that Hunter's truck?" And then I was like, "I haven't seen Hunter forever."
Yeah. No, but it was a good time. Saw, Mike P. Mike P. was there.
Mike P. I haven't seen Mike P in forever.
Now it's been
He's hanging
Christmas.
in there. He's hanging in there.
Yeah.
He's doing all right.
All right.
But the problem with Mike P. My man has been in a number of toxic relationships.
Ah,
I mean, and in fact, at one point, who was it? Somebody came up and they needed to talk to somebody. And they're like, and so they left to go call their spouse or whatever. And Mike went, oh, yeah, it was a lot like my last girlfriend, only she never called.
man.
And he says it with such zeal. Just there's such a certain way he says things.
Self-deprecation, self-loathing.
He has it perfected. He has it
Yeah.
perfected so that you actually laugh at
Who
it.
was that? I don't remember who it was, but yeah, the person jumped and ran to the phone, and Mike P's like, yeah, except they never called. But there was, well, let me go backwards half a step.
Yeah.
We really want to, sitting here at the table with all of you who join us week after week, to have more and more applications of what emotional needs are and how they portray and are displayed in a life. And so Eric brilliantly stumbled across the first time he was ever on Reddit, and he found this question. And we thought it would be a good idea to apply. So when you hear, okay, this relationship is toxic, we want to apply the emotional needs to it and say, okay, well, what emotional need is this person not getting or stealing? And, those of you who have been with us, sit at the table, you're aware of the top 10 emotional needs. If you're not, go back and you can listen to the podcast where we talk about each and every one of them. So as we go over these, I thought that might be a good way to display what emotional needs are not being met.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. All these can tie back to whatever. I figured we'd kind of have like a off the cuff discussion as we talk through these.
I mean, the very littlest we can get out of this is being grateful that none of these are us.
Oh my gosh. And probably none of these are you listening. At least I hope, because these are pretty extreme.
But very possibly could have been.
And yes, it's crazy. So the first one on the list is
Well, by the way, let's repeat real quick
Yes.
the Reddit question.
yes. So the Reddit question is, what is a dead giveaway of a toxic relationship? And these are people responding to that question.
Mike P would say one I'm in.
He just calls them relationships.
The first one I marked down here is my 57. 57. This is 17 years from now for me. Like, I've already lived 40 years. Like, this would be almost half my life that I've already existed from now. Like, that boggles my mind that this guy's this old. Or her. No, him. My 57-year-old colleague constantly has to send videos and pics of him working to his wife.
So his wife has such a high need for security
Yeah, that one's easy.
that she demands that he constantly send her pictures of him working.
Is it just security, though? I know it, like, immediately, like, goes to security.
Well, I certainly know.
What else could it be?
Because
Because,
he
like,
has zero need for respect.
I'm telling you. I'm
Or
telling
he's
you.
dying. I mean, what else could it be? I mean, it's not affection. He's not sending "I love yous" from
Right.
work.
It's really
Right,
nothing
right.
for her other than she's
It's not
just seeing him.
acceptance
To
Yeah.
let her know that he's at work
and
doing
not
his
cheating
job.
on him. Her.
Right. I mean, that's got to be what it
That
is,
has
right?
to be it.
Because
And maybe he's given her reason in the past.
or
Yes,
he
but
has
still.
some other problem. It might not. Might not be cheating. Maybe he has a gambling issue.
addiction.
Yeah.
Right. And you can't do that from work.
Maybe back. Well,
I love it that I don't gamble at all.
Oh.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I can get around that.
I didn't even think of that though. It could be like another addiction.
Some other addiction,
Like,
yeah.
hey, you're
Yeah.
not at like you may not be at a hotel.
Maybe he
you
just
know,
doesn't
with a-
go to work.
Yeah, maybe you're not at a hotel with a prostitute, but maybe you're at a hotel like just shooting up drugs. I don't know. Like,
Oh, that's dark.
It is, but like
Maybe he chronically pulls heists.
oh,
I like that one.
maybe
bad
he's
kind
like
of
an
host.
Ocean's 11 kind of guy.
Yeah. And she's
Well, now I
just-
kind of want him to be the Ocean's 11 kind of guy. But
As
that'd
long
be
as he's
wrong,
bringing
too.
home the money, though, what's she caring about?
Exactly.
It's still. It's none.
He sends a picture of him like cracking a safe.
Yeah, we didn't say where. Honey, I'm working. All right, come on.
maybe he works at a strip joint. He's a male stripper, and she's like, I just want to see pictures of you.
So it could be affection.
It could be affection.
Oh my gosh. I love
Probably
this.
not.
Probably not. It's got it's
could
secure.
be.
It's security.
It could be.
It's
It
security.
could be. Maybe. Hold on. Maybe if we're gonna go down the
This is gonna be
affection,
Oh,
go down the
all right.
affection path.
Do it.
Maybe it excites her
Oh,
when he works.
when it works. Yeah.
She, if she just sees him like dressed up and looking real nice for Friday night, she's like, whatever. Well, but like when she sees him cracking a safe, she's like, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, it also doesn't say if he has pants on either.
Oh wow! Here we go.
Well, where's he working that he's not wearing
I don't know.
pants?
Maybe he's risky,
It could be a
and that turns her on.
proctology model.
Or a proctologist, and she's into that. She's like, I want
Model. Some sort of sadist, perverted lady.
I like when you stick.
Nope.
I'm just gonna. I hit the drop marker. I don't know what I'm gonna get out of that, but there's something there. There's something there.
So this took a
So
turn.
Brian, why don't you take the next one? Because I feel like it's also similar.
we've decided it's affection.
It has to be.
It's more fun if it's affection.
I found out the other week that my buddy has to send his girlfriend detailed notes with timestamps of legitimately everything he does while hanging out with the guys. 9:14. Went down to the kitchen for a glass of water. Oh my gosh. 9:15. Stopped to pet the cats before heading upstairs. 9:18. Made it back upstairs and sat on the right side of the couch. That is weak. There's
the worst
There's
one.
not a bright side to that.
This is
one.
the worst one because like it's everything that we just mentioned of like security.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like what you said earlier on, Jay, of like this guy has no need for respect.
No.
It's a -10 on the scale.
He actually likes it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that's right. Control me. Control me. Every one of my moves.
If you're gonna
He
put
probably
up
had
with
like a real
this-
hen-pecking mom, helicopter mom. He's not sure why he likes it, but he loves to report into his wife.
oh my gosh.
She might have had some
Girlfriend.
problems in
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
I would think.
Oh yeah.
And to bring
She may have been
speaking
cheated
of
on
that,
once or twice.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it might not even be a problem with him.
Oh, I would say
necessarily,
probably
right?
not, because I think
No.
she would have either killed him or.
It's her.
Well, no, meaning somebody. No, it's somebody else did something to her, and it may or
Well.
may not be this guy.
Right. But it's her.
Yeah.
That was tough to read. I didn't see that one when I read through the comments originally, but man, that's
I wanted you to
That's
read
a
it because
different
with
level.
you with the high need of respect.
And wait, let's take it a step further, because I just reread it.
I'm pissed
Yeah.
for this guy.
It's girlfriend.
right.
It's not wife.
He's gotten out. Like, dude, gone. Like, get out of there, buddy.
Like, there's a lot of fish in the sea. Why are you being in control? But again, like you said, maybe his past hurts. He's fine with that. He's cool.
My goodness. One partner always gets their way.
Yeah.
For me, they say, it was easier to bend over backwards than to deal with the whining and complaining if I stood my ground. Easier, as they put it earlier, was in quotes because it was only easier in the short term. Long term made life hell.
Yeah.
And the example is Michael and Jan from The Office.
Yeah. And I put in the parentheses up there mutual giving because we've talked about mutual giving a lot.
Yeah, that's one of the four components of a successful relationship. I mean, I had a toxic relationship before Rachel, and like their person said to me, "You always think you're right," and I said to them, "Well, yeah." I said,
Doesn't everybody?
I said, "You're welcome to tell me why you think I'm wrong."
I often say things that that I know I'm wrong for.
And I said, what kind of idiot would I have to be like, all right, I have this opinion, which I'm sure is wrong.
Oh my gosh.
But I do like that they've realized that, yeah, this worked in the short term, but it sure didn't work in the long run. Now, for that person, they have, excuse me, a really big need for respect. The one who's that that doesn't give in.
Right. Yeah.
Could also be security. Certainly
Yeah.
acceptance, because they're like, well, I can't be wrong. So they're so afraid of being wrong that they have to be right.
I feel like that's me to a certain extent.
How so?
Like I feel that like I don't want to be wrong
Yeah.
because I don't want
But you
somebody
will
to be,
be
angry.
wrong.
Right. But like I feel that like I don't want to be wrong because I don't want to offend somebody or like that kind of thing.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
I don't
that's
wanna-
acceptance.
Right. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
But it doesn't manifest itself like it does with this person.
Right.
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 I think Michael and Jan from The Office is a great example. She would like make him sleep at the foot of the bed.
Yeah.
She would make him get, I almost said circumcised.
Vasectomy.
Snip, snap, snip,
And
snap.
then undo it.
Do you understand the emotional and physical pain?
3 vasectomies.
This is a good show.
The next one. This is, yeah. If someone is always talking crap about their partner whenever they are not together.
I hate that. It's so uncomfortable.
When you
to me.
guys talk to me all the time about your wives like that way, it really makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Jay, what were you going to say?
Or when they are there.
Oh, yeah. Just right in front of you.
That is
Yeah.
real awkward.
Well, like Amy and I have talked about like when she's out with not our girls here, but like other women and or at work, whatever, and like the coworkers talking bad about their husband, like she's uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable too when somebody talks bad. One, because like I have a high need of acceptance, so like it makes me uncomfortable that
Anyone's not good.
Yeah, right. But it makes me sad. Like why would you talk about your spouse like that in front of somebody else? Like, ugh.
When I was, we were about to get married, and we were both working at the same company. And I remember talking to a guy, just randomly about we're going to get married, and he starts talking about his wife, and he just kept calling her the old ball and chain.
Ah, yeah.
And like, it made my heart hurt so bad. Like
Yeah.
you're
It's so sad.
not only.
I mean, you get
like
it
you
now,
you
but-
may you may feel like that, but to actually verbalize
Yeah.
it. You know,
Right.
and
Right.
feel no shame about that. The old ball and chain. The wife. Like it does make you sad, and those are definitely triggers of people that are very dead inside of in that relationship.
Yeah.
Like they may be at bare minimum dead inside to the relationship. And there's probably a lot of other hurts, but yeah, it's
yeah.
disturbing.
There was a couple that I knew that'd been around forever. Everybody knew them, and they would just sarcastically, never with anger, but sarcastically go at each other time and time again. And it was right around the time where I was learning all this. And I was like, well, that does not match up with what I've been taught. And I'm like, well, I guess for some people, because they've been married for 20, 30 years. And I'm like, for some people, I guess it works, I guess. And now they're divorced now. So I guess it didn't work.
There was in the Reddit thread, there was a comment underneath this one that said, like, which we've said before, like it's good you need somebody or a group of friends or it's healthy to vent sometimes.
Oh, sure.
And it's healthy, you need to talk.
yeah.
And you can do it respectfully.
Right. But
Yeah.
the key words
Constructively.
are always talking crap.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we did it tonight. I'm just seeing which of the spouses listen.
We all looked at each other like, wait, what are you talking about?
They'll be like, well, you aren't. I mean,
That
it
was the
wasn't.
most awkward half second of silence.
I know what we're talking
We'll
about.
see what happens when we get home.
The next one on the list is
I'll tell you who's not in trouble. That's me.
Me neither.
inability to take a step back, listen, and analyze the other person's point and actually come to a conclusion during a conflict.
It's a little wordy. It's a little highbrow.
It's
We're looking
another
for more
way,
like,
it's
you
another
know.
way of saying, oh no, dang it.
Nobody talk while he thinks.
I know,
It
man.
makes for good radio.
No, it's seeking each other's understanding. Like that's
yeah.
like that was my example. When I looked at that, I was like, and this can go in any relationship, whether it's spouse, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, coworker. Like trying to seek understanding is very, very important. Jay,
I dare say that's not toxic. That's 90% of the relationships that I'm aware of.
well, okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So the
Just
person
an
that wrote
inability
It's
this,
not toxic.
but the person that wrote this,
Sure,
what do you
sure.
think they have a high need of? then?
Respect. I mean, there's definitely a respect aspect in there. If you can't, I don't know, maybe not.
No, I'm with you. I would say it's respect.
I think there's some respect in
I
there.
think it's also belonging. That do you value me enough as your boyfriend or husband or whatever he is?
Yeah.
Do you want my input? You don't. So you don't value me in my role in your life, but also support as far as let me help you through life. What they're saying is the other person says, no, it's my way.
And also
Right.
comfort.
Oh, there's no comfort. They're not joining him in anything.
Right.
But again, it ain't toxic. It's just broke.
It's not as effective as it could be.
What?
This way of doing things is not as effective as it
No,
could be.
but I mean, I think a lot of couples run into that. I mean, how many people do you know outside of people who sit at the table
can be objective.
take a step back,
Yeah.
listen, analyze the other person's point, and come to a conclusion not only after a conflict, no, they write down during a conflict.
They're probably psychologists.
I mean, Rachel and I have worked very hard to get to the point to be able to do that during a conflict.
Yeah.
Well, Amy and I have had some big fights over the years, but we have never had the kind of fight where, like, you're slamming door. Well, I shouldn't say that. We've slammed doors. But you're slamming the door on each other. Speaking of not resolving during the conflict, but like for days. Like I've
Metaphorically.
heard these like stories of people who like, okay, well we're going through a spell where we're not talking to each other. We're like literally not interacting.
Right.
For days and days and days.
Yeah.
And then you end up in the grocery store. I'm just saying we didn't need jelly.
The nothing fights.
So you're saying you haven't experienced that?
Have not, but like
No.
have heard
Oh, sure.
like true stories of that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
it wows me. Like even before I knew anything about emotional needs and how to, seeking understanding and all these things we talk about.
crap.
Like I just would have an inability to go on, knowing that my partner is angry with me for an extended period
So you
of
felt
time.
you felt grieved in that, and you needed to make it right,
Yeah.
even though you didn't necessarily know how to
Right.
do emotionally
Right.
like
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
But
So I
you-
guess
you
I'm
still
just saying it
felt
wows
grieved.
me that people can go through a conflict and just be like, nope,
Shut
we're-
down for days.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
Nope, we're done.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Okay,
Because I feel the same way. Like, not like.
you got all
okay.
soft on us.
Well,
Let's
well,
dig
I
into
haven't.
that.
I don't think I've
Sweaty
slammed a
balls.
door because of Amy.
Aspartame in Rome.
I'll tell you, I've slammed a door because of Maggie. I'll tell you that.
Well, kids are off
Ugh,
the table.
They're the worst. But Chris, do you know what your highest emotional needs are?
Respect.
Yeah. Do you have a sense of belonging?
Yes.
And that might be why, because like you can't go any longer
Right.
than a day without being.
And if she can,
Yeah.
if she can go 2 or 3 days, you don't respect me enough that you want to
Right.
resolve this. You're
Right.
fine without me.
right.
Right.
And these people have no sense of belonging. You know, like all respect. Like I'm not giving in until you give me the respect.
Right.
You know that kind of thing.
And they're also their islands. Like
Right.
whatever,
Right.
it's fine.
Oh, I can't even imagine what that feels like.
Well, it goes back to when Rachel and I were dating, and I got so mad. We'd sort of had an argument at an Eaton Park, and I said, I am not going to initiate our next conversation. And we went 45 minutes sitting in silence, and she didn't know.
I can't believe you sat 45 minutes at Eaton Park.
amazing
Eaton
story.
Park. They don't even have a beer at Eaton Park.
I've heard that story before, but
It's great every time.
Every
'Cause
time.
I can just picture her.
We didn't even have like that kind of cell phone back then.
I was going to
either.
say, did you have a
Nope.
phone? Oh my gosh. That's.
I was dying.
Did you ask the waitress for?
Oh, she and I went out and made out, me and the waitress. I mean, I was like, I needed something.
Like, can I get a kids menu so I can do the maze and the word search?
Crayon, 2 packs, please. Could be doing a lot of coloring here. Wait.
Yeah.
Also, and this may be just a different one. Rachel and I were working with a couple, and the woman said, the husband and or significant other, I don't know if they were married, but he was like, yeah, well, at least I don't call you whatever she had called him. And like we both turned and looked at the woman like, you said that? And the woman looked at Rachel. She goes, well, you know how like when you're mad and you just start swearing at him and you just say things like that. And Rachel's like, no. She's like, I've never sworn
Yeah.
at Jay once. I I don't think either of us have ever raised our voices. And this poor lady was like, oh, okay. You've never mother effed him to his face.
Well, it does sound almost unbelievable. I mean, maybe not the mother effing part, but like, you guys have never yelled. That is kind of
maybe
amazing.
Have raised our voice twice, maybe 3.
It's one of those things where, like, you know, because actually tonight, like, I had a moment where, like, there was too many things going on in the house. Things like one of my pet peeves is things in the way.
Oh, well.
I just wanted to get to
Because you're a well-adjusted human being.
I just wanted to get to the corner of the dining room where we have our coffee station and put the clean mugs that I'm taking out of the dishwasher and, you know, taking them back to the rack that we keep them on. And there's just stuff in the way. And I was just like, why are we doing this? Like, why? And I wasn't yelling at Amy. I was yelling at the situation. Right.
Yeah.
It's just different. But, like,
Depending on her need for security.
well, and I had to remind her, I'm not mad at you. I'm like, we just got to figure out how to do, like, how to
put the stuff that was there.
I am not at liberty to say. I will say it wasn't me.
It's confidential.
Wasn't
May
me.
have been Maggie, but it wasn't.
You know,
You got a lot of grandparents in this house.
A lot of them. Yeah.
They move stuff.
So, you know.
Well, Chris, to your point though, or your point about Jay, the woman's just like, you know, it's just, I think so many people do come from those environments. Like, I know for me, when I got married, you know, I came from a family, we yelled at each other. And it was just kind of a normal
How
thing.
long before Lex let you know?
That's
not
interesting.
how we do things.
Very quickly. And she did it extremely gently, but
Yeah, she's gentle.
but how many couples come together from those, you know, each of them are coming from a background like that, and it's just accepted. It's just
Right.
the way things are.
Well, and to a degree, I want to be fair. I'm not saying if you raise your voice and yell, inherently that is a toxic relationship.
Correct.
I don't think it's the best
Like, you can
way
be
to
passionate, just don't.
Go. Right. I'm not saying it's the best way to go about things, but that in and of itself, I think the mother effing and everything else, it could still not be toxic, but it's still not productive.
Right.
There's another comment a little down the list that goes right off of that. It says, having a partner in a relationship who insists that you have to fight, otherwise you're not passionate about it. I've never had to, the person says, I've never had to deal with that personally. I've been married to my partner for 8 years, but when I heard a friend say this to me, I was mortified for her relationships. Yeah.
Yeah. Those relationships, you have to fight almost to make yourself, hey, this relationship's alive. There's something here. Like that. That's kind of a weird, you know, that's a tough thing.
I don't relate to that at all. The next one on the list, someone who does not let you have a life outside of the relationship and gets upset when you see friends or do hobbies like you like. Or sorry, let me start over. Someone who does not let you have the life outside of the relationship and gets upset when you see friends or do hobbies you like, even if you make time for them.
I definitely thought it said hobbits. Or do hobbits.
Yeah.
I see you reading Tolkien again.
But yeah, they don't let you have a life outside. Hey, I want to go hang out with my motorcycle buddies. You can't.
Well, and you know, I feel like that happens a lot in our life.
Motorcycle buddies.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Brian has no motorcycle buddies.
The guys at a motorcycle club. He can't go.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
that's
what it is.
Yeah.
It was your choice to describe it. It was,
I don't know why. I don't have a motorcycle.
But we all know that guy or that girl that, like, they're not around anymore.
and you hang out with the boys, and she's there.
Right? Yeah.
And that sounds like it could be belonging. Like she wants to know that you are, like, she belongs.
That if he has a relationship with friends outside of her romantic
Right.
relationship, that somehow that means her romantic relationship isn't as valuable or as secure as it could be.
Yeah, or that she should belong in that other relationship. Like, why aren't I there? Like, you should
Sure.
be taking
Or-
me everywhere.
Right. Why am I not good enough for you that you have to go out and do these other things with other people?
Sounds like security, too.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Security,
belonging and security.
belonging.
A lot of that coming up tonight, which is interesting.
But to that end, I would like to point out it's when one person feels that way. Because, for example, Tommy and Jan went, I think it was something like 20 years where they saw each other every day. And they do everything together. They go everywhere together. Tommy and my brother, for those of you who aren't all that table savvy. And when Rachel and I first started dating, like we were going to a concert, but I was going with my friends and she was going with her friends. And they were like, "You're not going together though, right?" And I'm like, "No, we're not going together." They're like, "No, you're going together." I'm like, "No." And they're like, "How are you not going together?" And I'm like, "'Cause she's going to be there with her friends." So my point is they were like this, but they wanted to be like this. And both of them were like this.
Yeah.
Not toxic.
Right.
You know, whereas Rachel and I were like, whatever.
Right. Well, even like, when we talk about, like, I want Amy to go have girl time and she wants me to go have guy time,
Right.
because like we both need it very much.
Right. And there's still a balance that you have to keep, though, of continuing to come together, in that relationship in a healthy way. But I don't know how people, and all due respect to Tom and Jan, I don't get that, and right at the beginning of our relationship, Lex and I had a conversation where we both said we need our own time. Because we were tight. We were just like in love, and but we were both like, even here, we know that we need to get away and have our own time to do things. And it was important to lay that out then. So yeah, I think you can have a healthy balance of all of that.
For sure.
Break up, make up, break up, make up, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. It
And I
never
mean-
seems like it works out.
And that's a younger relationship issue. Not that makes it invalid. I'm just saying that's not.
Well, I mean, if you get married, divorced with the same person, I think that would work either.
Does that happen? People do.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Not often.
You said that
Not
so like, oh sure.
I've seen that.
All of my experience.
Yeah, right. Amy and I are on our
Well,
fifth
no,
marriage
it's
together.
just like, hey, I'm in this club where
Well, and I'm debating in my head, is that toxic or is it just not working? Like, we're looking at the
Yeah.
term toxic.
Yeah, that's true.
But there was another couple that I met with, and I told them, look, you both need counseling for different reasons. Individual, intense counseling that I'm not able to give you. What?
Just a lot. Individual. Intense.
Well, I wasn't laughing when I said it, though. So. Let me tell you. Woo! You guys. Wow. All right. Let me break this down. But I said lovingly that you both have been hurt very terribly in the way you were raised. And you have to get individual counseling, or I said, it's not going to work. I said, once you guys have both gone through counseling, then back together, I can work with you. I said, but here's the thing. You don't have to do it. It's okay. Who am I? I'm nobody. So, but let me guarantee you something. Not only in their own relationship are they going to continue to fight, break up, get back together, fight, break up, get back together. You might eventually break up, and then you're going to find somebody else. But because of your hurts and your hurts, whoever you're going to find, you're going to just keep doing this with that next person. And so to me, it's just more indication of almost a toxic individual more than a toxic relationship. Because
And there's really nothing to identify in terms of an emotional need with like that description, what they're putting.
why are they breaking up?
Right, exactly. Like, what is the need that,
There was another comment on the Reddit thread that said something like, it might have even been a comment on this makeup, breakup, and it said, that always seems to happen to me. Maybe I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Like, and
And you got to figure out what
there
that problem
is
is.
some self-analysis that needs to happen.
That's
yeah.
why you should go to lunchtimeinrome.com and take the relational needs questionnaire.
Nice plug.
I love that guy said, maybe it's me. Oh, buddy, it's you.
Yeah.
well, in that situation, can it be one person or is that two people?
If you've been in you mean in one specific
Well,
breakup,
one,
makeup,
the-
makeup,
one is
makeup?
breakup, the
makeup.
other is makeup.
So like,
No, I would say they're
No,
both
I'm just
involved.
saying,
In that
right.
person's case, if you've had multiple, situations like this, you are at least the problem. In one individual couple, it's on both of them if it's makeup, breakup, because they're either breaking up or making up or both,
Right.
and you have to disengage from that.
The only thing I could peg it back to from a emotional needs perspective would be acceptance and belonging. Like, you're all I got. You're my
Right.
only choice, and I need that sense of belonging. So let's get back together.
Sure.
You know?
And it gets back. I mean, why are they keep breaking up in the first place? Like it gets back to the whole not seeking understanding, not listening to the other person's perspective. Oh, it's just easy. Well, let's just break up.
Yeah. Next one on the list. When they say we need to work on our communication, but every time you bring anything up, they get mad and start an argument.
There's so many, like, what am I trying to say? Communication. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
It is such a broad word. Like there's so many.
Yes, this is the reason
Important
why I
steps to
brought this one up,
communicate.
because I've heard a lot of people in relationships, and even Amy and I have had this discussion, you know, prior to emotional needs and whatnot, of we just need to communicate better. We just need to communicate better.
Right.
And there was a comment and said, how are we going to work on communication if I don't even feel comfortable bringing things up? Because when I do, it's a fight. And I feel like, you know, yeah, you need to communicate, but you don't know, if you don't know like what emotional needs are, you don't know what to communicate. You don't know what to say, like what you need. Like I need your encouragement. I need your support.
You have no vocabulary.
You have nothing to go by. So like there's nothing to communicate.
You're like children.
Yeah, you really are. And that's again, that's exactly why I brought this one up, because nobody knows how to communicate their emotional needs or recognize what their partner's emotional needs are.
Right. And maybe their partner knows, like, well, yeah, okay, we need to communicate better. But
what do we need to communicate?
right. But every time they say something, it inflames the issue. Or
Right,
It's
because
the
they're-
wrong way
right,
of communicating.
Because their needs are not getting met. Yeah.
Well, and I think too, a lot of times, if you don't know like the principles of forgiveness, if you don't know the principles of grace, you know, it can, like, you know that you need to do something, but it makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to have those conversations. Yes, when you know emotional needs, but also when you do understand things, grace, mercy, forgiveness, you know, and pursuing peace. And I think a lot of people just have no language for that either.
And I think very often you get a backlog of hurts. And so, okay, you want to talk about this issue at hand right now. Okay, but then it reminds me of the time you know, so I'm about to apologize for this, but then I remember when you did that, and that. Well, how am I supposed to apologize for this? And then so I have to bring one of those up. Well, the other person doesn't want to. And, you know, you just get this, you know, compilation of
stacking
hurt.
hurts.
So
Yeah.
either you break up or you don't, and you just get dead inside, and then you lack intimacy in the relationship.
Yeah. I've been guilty of that, like bringing up things of the past.
Well, you need to, just not in the current
Not in the
conflict.
current conflict. Yeah,
No,
right.
that's terrible.
Yeah. It's more of like it's like the lawyer, the you know, the lawyer of it. Like the plaintiff brings this evidence, well then then they bring this evidence, you know, to combat that, and it's back and forth, which is not healthy.
No.
What do you guys think of this? This person says, I've learned that some people need conflict in their lives. I cannot stand those types. My sister is actually one of them, and while we still keep in touch, I try to avoid spending more than a few hours with her. Max. Maximum, not signed, not signed the name Max, but a few hours max with their sister.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I think it's true, though. I think there's people that have never had peace. And again, you know, they've come from homes or other relationships where it's not a normal thing. And so to them, the conflict is a normal thing. You know, it goes back to, we gotta fight because it makes me feel passionate and it makes me feel alive or something. It makes me feel like we're engaged, and not being able to find peace in just, you know, existing with each other and like that is, I think there are people out there like that, and I think it stems to a lack of understanding peace.
Yeah.
Well, there's also like the element. I have a family member, not like a direct family member, but they love and they use the word conflict, right? I would put it more of like they like to create like a controversial
Drama.
Yeah, like conversation.
yeah.
Like they'll drop like a grenade in the middle of the room, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you have to bring that up? Like, and with my high need of acceptance,
I
I'm
was
like,
gonna say,
I don't
said the
want
guy with
anything.
high need for
I go
acceptance.
back to the buffet and eat my feelings, because like,
A contrarian.
You do.
A contrarian. I have an uncle that's contrarian. A
Yeah.
contrarian. I mean, there's people that'll specifically drop bombs. This guy just likes to. Hey, the sky's blue. It's so blue today. Oh, no, it's not blue.
What'd you have for lunch? I had a cheeseburger. No, you didn't.
You didn't have a cheeseburger. Like
Yes, I did. I was down Second Avenue.
Contrarians get under my skin
yeah.
so bad.
It's like
think
everybody's
they do,
having.
though.
Yeah, they're not that bad.
I know. they don't. You're right, Jay.
Yeah. I
Good
was like,
observation.
everybody was having a good time until now. Like, why'd you have to do that?
Yeah, that's what are those people seeking? Like, what is that?
Attention.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is an emotional need.
Very good.
I mean,
Welcome to the
it's-
table.
It's the but what do we call it? It's the
black sheep. The
It
emotional
is.
yeah,
needs
it's
fan.
the one that nobody thinks is becoming, I guess, of someone.
Well, because it gets attention whore. Like it gets that connotation
Right.
of
Right.
It's a family show.
drama. But attention really is a lot more than just that.
Yeah.
I would say when somebody's emotional needs are so great and so immeasurable that the other person can never meet them, that becomes the point where it's a toxic relationship.
Ooh, how about this? Speaking of, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off mid-sentence. If you were,
Please.
I have one more example, and it's a little extreme. Speaking of
So
like
does
one
this have
person,
anything to do with what I just said?
yeah.
Oh, then go.
I think so. So she says, this is a tough one for me currently. So it's her current relationship. I have a generally very loving and kind boyfriend, but when we fight, he just always fights really mean. And he keeps saying, I make him yell. I make him this and that.
He's abusive.
He really freaks out, throws things, hits himself on the head, quite literally foams out of his mouth because he's so
Generally,
angry.
it's a good relationship, though.
And he can't seem to take responsibility for his behavior. I love him very much and want us to work,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'm scared we might not be able to make it.
That sounds terrifying.
I mean, he may not kill her at some point in time,
Right.
But he probably will.
Or that's a very articulate 3-year-old that is typing from preschool.
Or dog.
Or dog, right?
It's a very high level dog that sees the other one foaming at the
Foaming
mouth.
at the mouth.
And with their
Jeez, though,
paws,
like, that's
they're just-
horrible.
For her to say generally very loving
Generally,
and
it's pretty
kind.
good. I mean, he hits himself in the head,
Apparently that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Maybe that's only
foams at the
1
mouth.
hour a day or
I
something.
just try not to get him mad. I don't say anything to him.
Yeah, like how
I
could
don't
that
give
even
my
go on?
opinion.
You know?
Sounds
Yeah.
pretty tough.
He foams at the mouth and hits himself.
I can't remember how that tied into what you were saying, but I feel
One
like
one person's, I don't know how it does either. How one person's emotional needs are so great that the other person can't satisfy them.
yeah.
So whose emotional needs are so great in that story?
Oh, well, I guess his because
His.
he's spazzing out because he's not getting anything, right?
His are
Well-
more important to him, I guess, because like it sounds like she can't do anything.
What's his need for acceptance? So he can't be wrong, so he flips out.
Okay.
But what I'm talking is in general,
Yeah.
like across the board, whatever your emotional needs are, no matter what, they can't meet them. I mean, I'm speaking from experience, not Rachel. Where like, no matter what you do, it's but if you just would have done this, and you're just, and then either you get mad and foam at the mouth,
Right.
or you're like, oh, I'm the worst and
Yeah.
I'm terrible. It goes all the way back to, and I've told the story before. I was dating this person, and second reference at the table tonight, Rich DeFazio picked me up, and he goes, how are things? I'm like, I kind of screwed up. Why? Oh, well, we were at Thanksgiving over at her uncle's, and I was spending too much time watching football with her uncle and cousins, and I wasn't spending enough time with her and her aunt in the kitchen. And Rich just looked at me. He's like, are you serious? I was like, no. He goes, you were at her family's, at her cousins and her uncles, and you were spending time with her uncle and on Thanksgiving, and that was wrong. He goes, it doesn't have to be that way. And I was like, it doesn't have to be that way. And then we broke up.
You and Rich DeFazio?
Yeah. Poor Rich.
We're still together. We're still
He's looking good these
brothers-in-law.
days.
He's looking real good these days.
You guys.
Same relationship, but it's one of my favorite lines ever. She didn't want anything for a very big celebration. Don't buy me anything.
Okay.
So I bought.
Okay.
So instead, I was in college. I bought her golf clubs because she used to not like it when I went golfing with other people. So I bought her golf clubs. She said, I don't want anything. Got her golf clubs. She was irate that I would give her such a selfish gift as that it wasn't a gift for her. It was a gift for me. When meanwhile, the only way it was a gift for me was you'd get off my ass.
More time together.
And then a week later, I said to Uncle Rick, I said, she never asked me to stop golfing or to choose between golf and her. I said, but if she does, I don't think she would like the answer. She did. So between the Rich and the Rick thing, no. But that was a very toxic relationship.
So what did you do with the golf clubs?
I don't remember. I think she kept them.
She kept them anyways.
Yeah. Probably sold them.
I wrote down one more that I thought was a healthy example.
Of a toxic relationship?
No, it was somebody.
I mean, he really got his woman in check.
When you want to have a toxic relationship, this is the model.
one.
This is the model.
Number one, the toxic relationship. Go, Chris.
It was somebody commenting, trying to help, but they said,
Why? Sorry. It's like somebody on Reddit's like, oh, thanks for the help. I'm going to be okay now.
"Well, some people. There were other comments
Yeah,
on there that
there's people
were
that help
just
out on
conversation."
Nobody can follow Reddit. You have no idea.
Anyway, she said, "My husband and I always start a fight," in quotes, which is really just a conversation, she's saying, with this sentence: "This is you and me versus the problem, not me versus you." I mean, it sounds a little cheesy, but I think that's a really cool, just set that up ahead of time as a way to establish a boundary that's, that we're on the same team.
Because there is a way to do conflict resolution, and that's a pretty decent way to start that.
Yeah. Well, no, going back to the example before, I'm not saying Amy put the object in the way of the coffee maker, but there's a problem, and we got to fix the problem.
This is you and me versus the problem. No, first of all, let's identify the problem. Well, there's something in front of the coffee maker. How did it get there? You and I got to figure this out.
We don't have
ideas?
to.
You got any ideas?
We don't have to talk about how it got there. We just got to talk about how to get it out of there.
You and me versus the problem, and the problem's you. So it's you and me versus you.
So how are we going to get this done?
It's you and me versus you.
Now, do you want to talk to you, or do I have to talk to you?
I'm against you. You're against you.
Clearly.
Oh my gosh.
Glad we had this talk, honey.
And that's how we're going to end episode 197. Please make sure to give us a like or follow on social media and visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com. While there, take our relational needs questionnaire. Thanks for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.